Hello and welcome everyone to another tournament game of Fury of Dracula. Today we have competition between Terminus, who's playing the Hunters, and he's up against jbphilly, who has agreed to take on the role of Heroine in the tournament. Since Heroine is unfortunately no longer to be found on the Discord, we hope everything's okay with him. Wish him all the best. So JB Philly has stepped up to the plate, and now we got to see if Terminus can catch him. So let's see what happens. And I, as always, am your host, Captain Gyro. So thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Well, let's see what happens. Dracula misdirects this space, his starting location. Fair enough. It checks out. Well, hello.
Hello?
Who we've got here?
Just a guy off the street, you know.
Welcome aboard. Yeah, you're correct. You calling me out about that thumbnail. Had to fix it. I'm trying to be a professional here. Can't look silly.
No, it's great. It's great. Honestly, now that I have to make thumbnails, I'm used. I empathize. It's like I just gotta quickly put it together. Write hunter name, write Dracula name. Don't misspell either of them.
Hey, Jordy, welcome. Let's have some fun. So, where's Dracula, Pizza Wizard?
I mean, difficult to say. I like
Okay.
the setup, but hmm.
Oh, yeah, maybe he'll be like Quincy Morris and take advantage of Mina's solitude. Harass
I
her a bit.
I think it's real. I watched that video and I was like, this is interesting. And now that I've tried it in practice, it feels like a real strategy if
Oh,
you can just
yeah.
like move around Spain with little opposition.
When it's Mina, yeah, you can really bully her.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you have like a starting hand with a couple of vampires in it. It's pretty tempting. Obviously, it doesn't happen too often. Only 5 fighter vampires, 25. What is it? It's like you get 25 out of 28, I think, something like that. So
Yeah,
unlikely you have more than one fighter vampire, but
and
if you do,
there's ways out of Spain that aren't too bad. You
mm-hmm.
you can wolf out of there. You can go to sea and go to the Med and then wolf, and then it looks like maybe you're in Ireland or something. There's ways to get out of there and continue the game. It's
Yeah,
just not
I
that
mean, it's.
easy.
Mhm.
You gotta be careful leaving Spain. Yeah, that's where they get you.
I do think that the medieval form is really good. I think it's less good when the hunters are all clustered around France and or Italy because they've started coming over from Vienna.
Right.
I think that they happen to naturally just like cover some of the medieval form stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
it's still not bad. It's not bad. Hmm. Now,
Newspapers? Newspaper time?
I thought that was a newspaper. I was like, is my game lagging?
I was
No,
getting
no
a little
newspaper.
hype.
Uh, you gotta say like, okay, this is the newspapers right before you supply, and then the newspapers is just guaranteed to be
Mm-hmm.
there.
Yes.
I've had success with that.
You have to implore the event deck gods.
Mm-hmm. Just like tap the top of the deck, be like newspaper right there, then you draw it, and it's the best thing ever. And as far as this game goes, it seems like it's pretty standard. We got a misdirect, we got
Yeah,
supplying,
we're
he's
all
showing a horse.
we're all just hard at work here.
Also got to play an ambush. That's pretty cool. Maybe not so vulnerable.
Yeah, that's good that she has that. Playing an ambush on Drac.
Turn the tables on him.
Dracula has 8 health. Would you rather heroic leap him or get in a one-on-one? But it's Seward, and he has a knife and a host and a gun with holy bullets.
Dracula's at 8 health
Mm-hmm.
in this situation, and I can go in with I'd like the best combat hand you've ever,
Yeah.
the best combat hand I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
I think assuming it's a knife fight, I think I probably want that fight. Unless him being at 3 health essentially means he's dead. Like, let's say he's in Spain and he has to leave by sea, or I get him on land tomorrow
Right.
and he's at 3 health. Maybe you just heroic leap him so that he has to leave. If we're like, I don't know, in the middle of Germany and there's a bajillion places he can go.
It all depends on
Maybe,
the context, yeah.
yeah. Maybe I want that fight. But that, I mean, I'm not that scared. That fight sounds pretty good for hunters. I mean, I think a long time ago I heard someone say like a fully stacked hunter versus Dracula, like at night, it's about even in a 1v1. And it just comes down to, I suppose, like what does the Dracula draw in their hand, right? Which is
Mm-hmm.
completely random. Like there could be a Dracula hand that's just like all mesmerizes and strengths, and maybe like they line up a mesmerize on a knife. And
See, but
then
best case scenario, he tries to fang the heavenly host first, and you throw out the knife, right?
oh
And
yeah.
then now he doesn't have a fang to stop the heavenly host, and so you can just heavenly host like for free.
Yeah, it's a real danger. The real question is, will we get a newspaper tomorrow when the fifth space is on the trail? Then we'll see. See for real.
Could still see a fresh one today.
Decent amount of Dracula events. That's 7 out of the top. What is that? Out of the top 3, 15, 18? 7 out of the top 18? Slightly above average, although it's pretty close.
I mean, after this, it'll be 20 supplies after Mina finishes, right?
Yep.
And of those 20, we see 7. Yeah, I guess.
Right, I mean, that's about average.
That's about right. 7 for 21 would be right on the money, so 7 for 20 is about right.
Whoa!
What
is that discard? Mina discarded a knife.
Ooh.
Does she have multiple horses or something? It's a good item to discard on Mina.
Yeah, no kidding. You're gonna need those for killing vampires with.
Ooh. That's the issue, right? Like, let's say Dracula is in Spain and Mina draws like a hand like that, where it's more than one horse, or it's like multiple heavenly hosts, and her hand is just like not very well equipped to deal with you. Is she gonna leave Spain if she wants to give people horses?
Part of the trouble with Mina too is that if you want her to kill a vampire with a gun and holy bullets, it's nice.
Yay!
Yay! It's real.
Oh, jbphilly, my man!
Yes, that's great. Too
He
funny.
only hit wolf form yesterday. That would have been the real.
Let's say you're Mina Harker, right? And you have to kill the rumored vampire. But Dracula doesn't ambush, okay? So you're like, maybe it's an aristocratic, right? And you search it out. And it's a reckless, right? And you're like, alright, I got a gun. I'll kill with my gun and holy bullets. Well, it's just gonna mesmerize and fang you. And unless you're really clever and you dodge the fangs just right, you're probably just gonna die. So it puts her in this awkward spot where, like, she's great with a stake, but she kind of doesn't really have access to that method of killing vampires that everybody else can use, right? Because, like, Van Helsing doesn't really have a problem doing that. Throwing out a gun at night, like, what's the worst that could happen to him? He gets strength and loses his gun. The other guys are great at it. Seward's really good at it. It's like there's this whole method of vampire slaying that for her, it's not that she can't do it, but it's just way riskier.
Because Van Helsing's weakness is his 8 health, right? Like, he dies to 2 claws. So having a gun on him, I think, is just generally a decent idea. Yeah.
And with Mina, she dies as soon as she gets mesmerized and then fangs, so she typically wants to hold on to knives. The old meme about Mina with 2 knives being like the most overpowered thing in the game.
We call it a meme. I think that I quite like Mina with 2 knives.
Because it takes that weakness that is inherently like a part of the game's balance and basically just gets rid of it.
This is a very interesting Dracula setup, and I like that, who is it? We're a Terminus, he's the hunter player. He's taking the time to think about it, because this smells, it smells like there's a hoax in Amsterdam to me.
Oh yeah, and probably a Saboteur or a Bats on the hide card.
For sure. So if you don't have a Forewarned, do you even go for Amsterdam anymore? Because you can't get there in one move.
Well, if you...
the pickle.
I mean, how do you even get there anyway if you do want to get it, right? You'd have to charter carriage nearby or something. Or are you going to move Van Helsing today to Edinburgh and then have them excellent weather there would be kind of cool. But like you said, for all that to be worthwhile, you have to have the forewarned to. Well, wait, there's a bats. I mean, but that's the
You
thing.
could
Even
have
if
fogged it.
it could be that, or it could be a saboteur, and in which case a dogs would actually be really clutch.
Hmm.
So
Unfortunately,
maybe, yeah.
I see all 4 dogs in the discard pile, so no dogs today, unfortunately.
Oh, dude. Why you gotta bring me down like that?
I'm sorry. Look, there's overpopulation. Okay, we gotta get. It's a few for the good of the
I'm
many.
noticing a number of garlic wreaths in there as
Why
well.
do you champion that card?
Couple of
Why?
garlics.
Pick any other card. Okay, pick normal garlic. That makes sense. But garlic wreath, really?
Hey, I didn't
Ah,
say anything other than I noticed it in the discard pile. No.
your tone spoke
It
volumes.
is right to discard the garlic wreath. Yes.
Okay, good.
But you know
I don't
what's
know.
great is when you get Dracula in a 2-on-1 and both of them are wearing garlic wreaths.
If I get in a 2-1 with hunters, and they both play garlic wreath, I think that is the best round 0 of a combat I will ever have. And that is the best.
You say that now, but then suddenly you can't fang anybody. They come at you with the heavenly hosts. Rip.
True. Yeah. They'll have used their horses to get to me, and they'll both have 1 heavenly host and a garlic wreath each. And if they can't kill me, if I have more than 8 HP, what are they gonna do? They're gonna punch me to death? It looks like this hoax is gonna mature, although I think the rumor token vampire, they're probably gonna get to it. Because it has to be their clone of Brussels. But this is the benefit of the Amsterdam start, you know? If you hide on it, nobody's gonna get there in 1 move, right? They would need 2. And then if you hide there, they need to get 2 people there. And with the setup the way it is, it's just a pretty good start. You know? It's pretty good. Good old Amsterdam.
Yeah, with the right train ticket, she might have been in Paris by now, but even then, it's a 2 move to get to Amsterdam. So, you're talking about having a good train ticket on top of having a horse and economy prepared. Yeah, it's just very unlikely they would get to that one.
I'm waiting for the day someone does a start with Seward or Mina in Madrid, and I'm just gonna slam Amsterdam, and I'm gonna be so happy. Even if it doesn't work out, I'm just gonna be happy that I was able to do it. But everybody checks it. I don't like it. They all I was playing in Snuff, and he got a day 1 hired scouts, and he checked both the spots next to Amsterdam. And I hadn't picked Amsterdam because I was worried he would get checked, and him doing that just really made me feel like I can't. Even though I really want to, I feel like maybe I've been too vocal about how good Amsterdam is.
I played Scott Sword last night, and I started in Athens, and it's the first place he checked with a hired scouts and revealed me there.
The problem being famous.
On the second day, when I had just went there, and I was currently in Athens, Dracula revealed.
I mean, I think I checked Athens against you in our game. I think I checked Athens. I think I said in my video, like, hey, we need to check Athens. I think you went Athens, bam.
See, I knew you were wise to it. I was like, I'm getting too predictable. I gotta do something different.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So where's Dracula now?
There's this element when you play the same person a number of times of like, well, surely he wouldn't do that again, right? He wouldn't start in the same place as last time. Where's Drac now? Probably, if I were him, I'd have made a beeline for Strasbourg.
Right, and then you could be like Marseille by now, maybe
be anywhere, right? Exactly.
Could even be in Munich right now, which I'm not actually that opposed to Munich. I feel like they're not gonna move there.
Yeah, no, that'd be a great place to be. They're either gonna head after the trail, or they're gonna do this. They can stand still and keep supplying.
That would feel pretty bad.
That they would just start moving around.
Yeah, but if they like randomly hit like a local rumors right now, that would feel pretty bad.
Yeah, the heck with them though. I mean, you got your hoax about immature. They can know where you are. If it flips over and you're in Munich, just wolf form and laugh.
That's true. Munich wolf form's not bad at all. especially since they have to deal with this vampire. So it's probably going to be Mina who does that, but somebody's going to have to devote some attention to it.
If I was in Munich, I would wolf to Sarajevo so that you can get that place to become a lair as quickly as possible.
Oh, you want the Sarajevo lair?
Oh yeah. That way they all chase you into the east, right? And then by the time they start catching up to you, you get to put bats down in Sarajevo. And bats in Sarajevo is just like, too good. Too good to resist.
Yeah, I mean, there's just some really, just like getting to put. That's why moving to the places that are high traffic, it's risky in that like yes, you might get accidentally found, but if you get to put a layer there, like a layer in Marseille and Genoa, in one of those spots, like or Sarajevo, they're more likely to step on it, right? Like it's well connected.
And depending on your hand, you can be like, oh, in a week I'm gonna put a reckless down here too. Recklesses and layers are really good.
Looks like he took a swing and a miss on non.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Sometimes you can't really afford to give up your good vampires to layers, but when you have a hand with a lot of them, I think you can afford to put one or two recklesses down in a layer.
Well, and I'm always scared whenever I see a reckless in a layer because now I'm worried they're going to move back to it, right? Like that, like if there's a reckless and I don't know, like I think it happened against you. There was one in Genoa, and I was worried about moving off of Genoa because I thought you might just land there protected by your reckless vampire and whatever other encounter you have.
I think that's a really underrated part of layer play is like trying to manipulate your opponent with the threat that you might return to the lair. So like, you're heading somewhere totally unrelated, but they're sitting there thinking, I got a feeling he's gonna land in Spain so he can return to his lairs or something like that. Meanwhile, you're just having a laugh because you're not even going there at all.
I think clearing them out is maybe a little bit of an overreaction. I don't know if we want to start using our actions dealing with those, but like if you're on top of one and you can like move or supply and those options are like kind of close, I might lean towards supplying just so that you stay on top of the layer. See, it looks like I mean, what are the options are now? He could have gone like he could be going towards Spain, he could be anywhere, right? He could be in Spain, he could be in Germania. We know nothing because not very much has been checked outside of like Nantes and Bordeaux and Zurich, I should say.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about those checks. You need to just psychic bond. That's what you need.
That hoax. Yeah, it's relatively unlikely to have a hoax in your starting hand just because there's only two of them, but I think I'm very excited for the game when you do have one because I think that it's not too hard to manufacture a situation like this where the hoax is likely to mature, either by like protecting it directly or by putting like, I don't know, a saboteur in front of it on the trail so that they hit the saboteur and they can't get to the hoax in time. I quite like an early hoax. I've been kind of, I know the 7-point vampire is big, but early hoax is also big. If you can do both like this, amazing. Although I think this rumor token is probably going to get dealt with. I would be kind of shocked if it wasn't.
Yeah, no, I agree because unlike the vampire will clear the trail, but the hoax won't. So you can follow the hoax with the vampire anyway. Now that they still feel the pressure. Now with this hide card, the pressure is somewhat alleviated.
You're
which is something
making
to
the hoax
factor
more
in.
secure,
but that's a calculated risk, right? You're trying to get that hoax mature to go off.
Well, if there's no hide there, do you think that he goes after it then? I guess if there's no hide, he doesn't get revealed with wax cylinders, and then it's a whole nother game we're playing. I mean, you baited me kind of with that idea. I was really worried about the hoax in a vampire, so I ran right at the first encounter, only for it to be a delaying encounter, so I didn't deal with the real vampire because I was so worried about what was before it.
Yeah, and funny enough, if that had been a hoax, you wouldn't have been delayed. You would have just
yeah, I talked about it in my commentary, actually, in a Rukamania comment on the video. I was really worried about that hoax possibility. And I think maybe I'm too worried about it. I feel like
then again, if let's say it was a hoax and you revealed your stake, so now you're not delayed. But you don't have your stake anymore, so how are you going to deal with the vampire? You have to hope it's an aristocratic at that point.
Yeah. And I had a heavenly host, so if it was a new vampire, I might have tried to, like, host it, maybe.
Yeah, that too.
But it would have been risky.
Yeah, fun though. That would have been some good gameplay. Yeah, as Dracula, hoax first is good because it's good for so many reasons. If it matures, great, you get the invect card. If it doesn't mature, it'll delay the person who is about to find it, and then maybe the next card will go through instead. And if it doesn't do that because they used a stake, well then great, they used their stake, so now they have to kill this vampire the old-fashioned way, probably. So it's like all of those outcomes are good. And they can't stop it with dogs, they can't stop it with forewarned, like none of that's on the table. So by putting the hoax down early like that, you can use it to help like predict the next few turns.
Yeah. I even wonder, like, if we're going to there, do you need to use a hoax? Can a saboteur kind of do the same thing? I guess it gets stopped by a dog, but like you saboteur in front of your real vampire, and then they go after that, and then they can't get the real vampire.
Absolutely, saboteur first isn't a bad move either. It's just not quite as good because if it matures, if they don't find it and it matures, nobody cares. That's why you can put bats down first, and now you're thinking, haha, he'll go after this bats, but it won't work, and then the card afterwards it's like a hoax or a vampire. But what happens if they don't get to it in time because they don't pull the reports or the hired scouts and they have no idea where it is, and now you just have to mature or layer your bats, right? Like hoax is
this is why Castle Dracula started. Castle Dracula start. You make sure they know where it is, so they will go after it.
Exactly. Now you're getting it. There's no more uncertainty. They will definitely try to stop it.
Ooh.
Delay.
Wow. I thought that was the mature effect for a second, but the high card is there. What am I talking about?
No. So now it's got to be Brussels. Thanks, Jonathan.
I mean, they're definitely gonna do it. Yeah. Jonathan Harker has been doing work. He's been doing so much work. He's a great ally. I mean, it's unfortunate they weren't able to scan, but I guess it was pretty evident that he wasn't in Spain, right? Because he wasn't in Nantes, so he probably went like, I don't know, Paris. I mean, he could still be back. He could have gone Strasbourg, like you suggested, and gone back to Germany. He could have like gone 15 to 54, and is now deep in Spain. Could have gone to Italy, I suppose. A lot of options. No wolf form either. It's just been normal moving. I mean, honestly, if you're not worried about being found like this, like, is there a huge incentive to wolf form, or is maybe just like moving normally and saving it for the moment of like maximum potential?
It depends on how confident you are that second rumor is gonna mature, right? If you have some confidence that it'll mature, maybe do wolf form because it'll wipe wolf form off the trail at the opportune moment. In which case, you'll be glad you did it.
Right, because it just makes it hard for them to follow your trail. Like, I think that's maybe the reason you do it, even if you're not like in immediate danger. You just do it to make it so it's harder for them to kind of like pick up where you are.
Right. Plus, it all depends on where he is too. You never know when they're gonna move one space, and all of a sudden they have a much clearer picture of where you are, and there's nothing you can do about it because they're just acting during the day, and you can't do anything until nighttime, right? So if you wolf form early like that, that can potentially save your bacon. They land on something you didn't expect, and now they're like, oh, he went this way, but because of the wolf form, there's some doubt. Right?
Yeah, it's so stout. I like this ambush here, because I think that the vampire is probably a stake somewhere. I don't think we've seen any discarded.
Oh yeah, I'm fine with this.
Oh. Yeah, there's definitely a stake. So I think you try to get a point, maybe. Go for the point.
If you're Dr. Seward, though, do you try to get a little spicy here and throw out a knife or something? Maybe a garlic?
Look, people have been turn one dodging against recklessness. And when I say people, I mean me. I've been doing it because I don't want to get points.
They do like to fang.
Okay, there we go.
Maybe you should have dodged, yeah.
But then if you do that too much, right, then they plot, and then you feel pretty. It feels pretty
Yeah,
bad.
but
You
come
dodge and
on,
they
like,
plot.
how you would have to be so obvious about doing it all the time for somebody to actually be like, okay, I'm ambushing with my reckless vampire. It's round 1. Time to plot.
I
Like,
think I've actually done that, and they just ran away.
right, exactly. They just run away. It's tough to get yourself to actually want to do that.
Yeah.
Every now and again, though, you throw it out.
Yeah, especially if
Yeah.
your hand's bad. If my hand is like I can claw or plot rather than two, like it's 2 damage on sword doesn't really mean anything. I'd rather take the small chance that maybe
Right.
he. Ooh, Strasbourg. He did go to Strasbourg, just very late.
So what's this,
Did
like,
he?
15,
Frankfurt?
24?
It's Frankfurt. Look, Frankfurt's on the rise. I think he went to Frankfurt. Wait, no, he can't have gone to Cologne. Never mind.
No,
Frankfurt's
no,
off
no,
the table.
not Frankfurt. Although I agree
Oh.
that Frankfurt's stock is on the way up. I tend to agree with you, but in this case,
Not this
doesn't
time.
look like it. Paris.
So yeah.
Then it looks like he probably went Clermont-Ferrand and then to Geneva.
Yeah, I think you're exactly. I think that's the only option that's left on the table, right? Because Zurich, Seward was in Zurich.
Yeah. Wouldn't surprise
Could
me
he have
if
gone?
he's in Zurich now, matter of fact.
Could he have gone to Zurich after Seward left? I'm trying to remember the timeline of events. I don't think he could have. Right? Because that would have been. He would have been 3 days ago.
I forget how Seward got to Brussels.
I think he checked Cologne first.
State.
I think he horsed to Cologne and then moved to 9 today. So I don't think Zurich is a possibility in that case.
Okay. Yeah, he was in Zurich today. Before he moved to Brussels.
Oh, he was? Oh, I thought, didn't somebody check Cologne? Am I mistaken? I thought somebody checked
No, you're right.
Cologne.
He was in Cologne before he moved to Brussels. But when he was there, Dracula was in Strasbourg.
Right. He would have been in Zurich the day Dracula moved to Zurich if he had moved there, like I think. So yeah, you're right. It's 1524. I thought maybe it could be 2460, but not if John Seward was there.
No, when Dracula was in Strasbourg, John Seward was in Cologne.
Yes.
Or
yes.
Yeah. So
yes,
Dracula
that is correct.
could be in Zurich, I think.
Well, no, because then Dracula would have had to have been in Zurich the day before, right? And Seward moved from Zurich to Cologne, I think. Because if he went to Zurich, he went 24. So 24 is after Paris, and then the rumor token is Zurich.
When Seward moved from Zurich to Cologne, where was Dracula then?
I think he would have been in Zurich. He would have been in the rumor token, I think.
So Geneva.
Yes, that's why I think it has to be Geneva, right? I think that Zurich is impossible because of Seward. Although, admittedly, my timing could be messed up.
And then Seward took the train to Cologne. Then on the next turn, Dracula went to Strasbourg? That doesn't seem right.
I mean, maybe he hoped to get like a fight with like one person. Like maybe he hoped one person would check Strasbourg and then he would get a good fight with them, maybe.
Yeah. Lurking around, hoping to provoke something.
Because he could wolf form from Strasbourg, and she'd be pretty safe after the wolf form.
Yeah.
Does he plan to go back to a lair right now? Because this movement is really interesting. Oh.
So is this a wolf from Nuremberg?
Possibly. Could have gone to 60, like you said, after Strasbourg, right?
I bet he did. But now the question is, where did he wolf to? Did he go to Zagreb?
Maybe. I mean, I feel like you want to check Toulouse, you want to check 58 and 59, you want to check, I guess, like...
Crazy, right?
Venice. I'm kind of worried about Venice, actually. I feel like the wolf from to Venice isn't bad at all.
It's crazy, but depending on your movement, if you figured out where he was, you could end the game here and now, almost. Like, I played a game with Strider the other week, and I thought I was so well obfuscated before I wolf formed to Zagreb, and then all he did was check Toulouse and Zagreb. And then it went on for a few more turns, but it was already GG at that point. because I wolf.
Well, like, there's suspects like
is a
1 and
grab,
2,
had
right? I
nowhere to
mean,
go. I mean, there were other options at the time, but he just checked like the quote unquote, I guess, scary ones, like the extremity ones. Point is, I made a move that like seemed really good at the time, but then you realize it was just so obvious where
mhm.
he's going. Like, it would only wolf if it would get him to one of those places, right?
Yeah.
So you got to be careful for that. If they pick you up in Zagreb, you're stranded. There's like nowhere you can move from there.
What are they
It's
doing?
not gonna cook you.
Like, Godalming checked Nuremberg. I'm not sure why Van Helsing is meeting with him there, unless
Yeah.
there's an item trade that really needs to
Yeah,
happen.
I don't know what's going on there. At least he has picked up on the trail, though. He realizes it was Clement Ferrand to Geneva. But
Mhm.
it would have been nice to maybe have Van Helsing go to Geneva or something like that.
Right.
Maybe he wants to trade a stake or something. Maybe Godalming's hand is just really whack.
Yeah.
Double.
Yep. Okay, they're trading.
doubles
That
on
makes sense.
something. Yeah, double horses or something.
I do wonder. I think that's why, like, to your point about, like, maybe people are checking just the obvious Wolfram spaces. Maybe that's why you got a Wolfram somewhere that's like quote unquote bad, like Frankfurt or I don't know, Berlin, or just somewhere where like it's not a very good space. People know it's not a very good space. They're less likely to check it because it's like so congested, or it's like not well connected, or it's just out of the way. Like
Precisely.
maybe there's gonna adapt.
And then they spend time checking those extremity locations, which are by definition out of the way for them to have to go to, and now they're like they're out of position for catching Dracula.
Yeah. Well, the risk of that, right, is like you can feel like you're safe by doing that, and then like I don't know, they hypnosis or something, and you feel pretty silly because maybe they have like they're surrounding you, and you would hope they would go and check the extremities, and instead they're just all going to turn and like wallop you.
Precisely. Yeah. Well, good point. Really good point. Yeah. You think you're safe because it's such a non-obvious spot, but they pull out some kind of trump card.
Good to have a backup plan.
Hypnosis,
Ooh.
or hired scouts or something like that.
Discarding a rifle.
Nice.
Interesting. I think her one ticket is probably a white one then. She only had one ticket and she wanted to discard an item rather than reveal it. I guess she could have good events too. It's also possible.
Evening, Mr.
Good evening,
Kane.
Roscoe.
Welcome.
World's first murderer. Oh wait, no, that's wrong. No. He was helping commentate the what was the game? It was Andresat and Launchnecht. They were having a game earlier today. I think he and Scott Sword were commentating.
I'll have to check that one out later.
It looked good. I was watching it before this happened, so it looked quite good. Interesting stuff by. I won't spoil anything, but Andresat was doing some cool stuff. Nice. I was a fan. Okay.
Okay.
So he's going to Geneva. So maybe there was a stake trade.
Right. Maybe it was horses.
Yeah.
Good sign.
I guess because Godalming didn't. Did Godalming move with horses? Did he horse Nuremberg? Okay.
Well, I don't know if he horsed to Nuremberg, but he horsed just now to get the ammo.
He horsed just now, yeah. Okay. I mean,
I don't think
Godalming was no part of the fight, right?
I think he moved to Munich first.
Okay.
Oh, this pretty lady wants to dance.
Yeah, Godalming wants no part of this, right? He's gonna stake it. Well, everybody knows there's a stake, right? The stake is like, he might as well have it on his lapel. How obvious is that
there's a stake? He might as well be
right
like
now.
holding it right now in his character portrait. Like, I'm gonna get you. Coming back later. Nice strength. Strength's the punch.
Yeah, people are punching a lot. Like, and I say people, like, and I include myself. Like, I think a lot of the community has discovered they don't like getting plotted against, so now they will punch, especially when it's a high HP hunter like Seward or Godalming.
You'd almost just rather eat the 2 damage.
Right.
Than get plotted on,
any
and
chance
now it's like, ugh, what a headache. Now I have to actually, like, think and go off an autopilot here.
It's like, how sure do we have to be that they're going to strength before, like, I don't know, is it a 5% chance plotting? Is that worth risking? Is it a 10%? Like, how, if the meta becomes that everybody's going to punch turn 2, at what point do you start dodging again?
Right, because yeah, you're just eating damage that you don't need to at that point if you could just be dodging. Because there's only 2 plottings in the deck, right? So common sense would dictate that you should dodge more frequently than you attempt to punch the plotting.
Well, horses aren't quite perfect yet, but that's okay. He's just still mobbing up the trail. He kind of needs to figure out. I think he probably did go to 60 because he didn't go to Nuremberg. So, I mean, he's got to check those wolf form locations or like maybe supply. I feel like it's hard to justify just supplying after a hoax goes off, just because it's less effective.
Right.
But it's still good.
If you're out, then still your best out. Yeah. Welcome, Scott Sword. Welcome, King.
Ooh.
Welcome, Aruka Mania. Good to have you on, gang. For the recap, so started like any game of Fury of Dracula. Dracula began the game in Amsterdam with the Hyde card.
And hid there.
Yeah. He was revealed by wax cylinders, but it was too late. There was no way to stop the hoax from maturing. In fact, Terminus didn't even try to. He didn't even like once Mina was in Paris, he wasn't baited into trying to get to Amsterdam when the Hyde card would obviously just stop him, right? Like it had to be a saboteur or something, right? So he didn't even bother with that. So credit to him there. After that, Dracula went to Brussels and put down a vampire. He went to what else did he went Paris, Clermont-Ferrand, Geneva, Strasbourg, and then I called it. He went to Zurich. Definitely was right about that one.
Yes, you were. It was a good call.
I mean, it's a good call on jbphilly's part. Yeah, not only is it a great location to wolf form from, but you gotta hope the hunter player won't catch wise to it because Dr. Seward was there at an awkward time, right?
He's well armed. We know everything in his hand now. He's got horse, gun, knife.
Ooh.
He keeps meeting up hunters. Like, he brought Mina over to Strasbourg as well. And I'm wondering, is he going to scan it? Is that why he's doing it?
That's not a bad move. But I think he's in Zagreb.
You like your Zagreb. You like it a lot. And it's quite good.
What
about with Vienna? Do you think Vienna's possible?
If you wolf to Zagreb, they're all behind you now.
Right,
Vienna.
but it's so
I
obvious.
mean, sure, he could go to Vienna because it's less obvious. That actually might be clever. Because if they hired Scout you, they might not check that one.
The issue with the Psychic Scan today, it's still good, but if he went to lose, he could have gone to Saragossa or Barcelona and be out of France, but still have gone west.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You really want the Psychic Scan yesterday.
Yeah, if you're going to do it, you need to do it right when he wolfs.
Yeah, it is Terminus and Hunters and jbphilly.
It's almost like if you can avoid it, you shouldn't even have Mina more than one space from other hunters, right? Because you never know when Dracula's going to bust a wolf form, and then you're going to have to be ready for that, and Psychic Bond.
That's why having a horse is nice, just makes more maneuverable, although obviously the horse fails you, and then you're very sad.
She's one of the more... Well, I don't want to say it's more important to move her around, but because, like, Seward is also really key to move around, importantly.
The juggernaut that he is.
Mina and him, I think, are the most important movement-wise, because if Mina can't get anywhere, you can't make use of that Psychic Bond. And if Seward can't get anywhere, I mean, he might as well really just be holding 0 cards instead of 4, because he can't get anywhere. Yeah. How many games have you had where you just cannot get Seward onto Dracula, right?
I mean, ton. I feel like that's the objective number one. I mean, maybe not number one, but
exactly.
If you're and Dracula in the same spot.
If you're Dracula, you play around Dr. Seward, almost. Just like stay away from that guy as much as possible. And that's
because attrition is less effective. He's more able to deal with everything you're doing. So he has more items and events. It's just like just avoid that guy, honestly. I want to fog him, honestly, but he usually has a forewarn, so the fog doesn't even work.
That's why he's so great at dealing with the trail. Because it's like, yeah, well, if Dracula's gonna run away from me, at least I can be the one dealing with his trail, and the others can maybe chase him down.
I mean, if he went to Sarajevo here, he'll be pretty happy because they all kind of went west and now they're kind of going back east. But I think the jbphilly did something tricksy. I think it was like a wolf form to, I don't know, Leipzig or something. I think he did something weird.
Okay,
That's my
you
guess.
keep those hopes alive.
My tinfoil hat is
I,
firmly
I
on my
would
head.
love to see him have done something really wacky. Heck, maybe he hid. No, he couldn't do that.
Maybe he didn't. He did not hide.
Okay.
Not a me.
But
Then he
maybe
knows
he
there's a
went
wax
to like
wilderness, right?
Genoa or something, and now he's slinking down Italy. That's totally possible. You do that
I
every
think
once
the
in a
Venice full
while.
form is real. I think that he could have full formed to Venice and then gone down to Florence and be in Italy right now.
That's possible.
I think it's real.
Yeah. Heck, he could be in Spain, since the psychic bond would have been one turn too late to pick him up in Toulouse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's just so many possibilities right now, and the hunters have been doing some checks, but I feel like maybe they've left a few of the really important spots. They've been dealing with the trail, and they did a good job of that. Maybe they overcommitted to the trail a little bit. Oh.
Oh shucks, I hope this works. I hope it
Mm-hmm.
fixes itself.
Yeah.
No, I mean, he's done a good job with the trail. He's killed that new vampire. He killed the other one that was in Brussels. Taking care of business. It's just, yeah, now you gotta get to the point where you can start knocking out 2 encounters in a day. Or do you just stand here and keep supplying? It depends on what
Well, I
cards
think you gotta
have.
find him. I guess it doesn't matter what cards he has, but Dracula has so much time now, right? Even if, let's say, magically he found him today, he's still gonna take like probably 2 to 3 days to really get there, wherever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It feels pretty good to be Dracula here, honestly. A lot of time is passing. And Roscoe and Scott sort of actually feel so seen in chat right now. They're having a conversation about Mob versus Seward. And every time I feel like I'm about to make a point, I just look in the chat and they're making the point for they're like, yeah, Seward's weak to Mob, but then he can heal twice fast. And I was like thinking that in my head. And then he's like, oh, but if you do it at night before you fight him, bam, that's 4 damage before the fight. That's pretty good. And I agree with their sentiments.
That's also true. And if I could tack on one more thought, it's that, like, he, like anybody else, he can also just choose to discard the cards. So if it's going to make that big a difference, he can just discard the extra card, right? Now he'll only take 3 instead of 4.
Well, it doesn't really matter on him, right? If he's at 9, taking 3 doesn't really matter. He has to discard 2 cards to make a difference on the 2 damage.
My point is that, like, okay, the theory goes that Mob is better against Seward because he carries an extra card. But the only time that would ever make a difference, he can just discard the card anyway, just like anybody else would do. So really, like, it's not any more effective against him than it is against any other hunter.
Like, it's 1 more damage, yes, but
if anything,
like, it's not getting him to a new increment.
If anything, it's better against Van Helsing, because you weaken him up to 5, and if he wants to discard, he can, but he's gonna have even fewer options in the combat now, ideally.
And I value Van Helsing's night actions very highly. I think forcing him to have to choose between healing, ticketing, and trading when he's probably the guy moving by rail is, you want to put as much tension on him as possible. Because, I mean, the Mob sure is good against Seward, but the fact that they're, I agree with Scott Seward, he can heal twice as fast, right? So unless you're, like, capitalizing immediately, wars of attrition against Seward are not very good.
Yeah. If you're going to damage him, you want to hope to capitalize on it as soon as you can. Otherwise, he's just doing his job. He's just sweeping up your wolves and your bodyguards and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. So the problem is Seward is too good at dealing with the trail, because I want him on Dracula, but I also want him on the trail. I just want everywhere. Can I have a second Seward? I just want to switch out with other people. I just want Seward number 2.
Tell me about it.
That'd even be better, though. I feel like the other 3 are all kind of really important. I don't even know if having a second Seward is... Because they all kind of play their role, right? Like, getting the double items on Godalming is huge, the trading on Van Helsing is huge, the scan on Mina is huge, like...
Without the double items, the first week like you would lose every time in the first week. You know what I mean? Like Dracula's encounters would mature because you can't get the horses. Oh, he's not in Zagreb, by the way. Dracula's soils would mature because you can't get the hosts. Like he would just, you wouldn't have the right answer to his cards frequently enough. People would be way more frequently left without weapons. And the horse economy, the train ticket element is slightly less important, but still very useful for fixing the economy and even just for giving tickets to the other hunters. If you're in a city with another hunter and the other hunter has a better night action, well, Godalming can just trade 2 tickets to them, or he can trade 1 ticket to them and keep the other ticket. Now they can both take the train, right?
Yeah. I think this is a really tough situation for the hunters being right now because they don't really know where he is. There's a lot of spaces it could be. I think that sitting and supplying when there's hunter events on top is good because it found him a hired scouts, right, which was really big.
Vienna after all. You got it right, Pizza Wizard. Tried to be less obvious.
I also said Venice. Look, if I say like 5 locations, surely one of them will be right.
You're absolutely right. But yeah, he tried to be a clever boy. I can approve of that.
It did waste like Seward's Day action because he didn't know where to go, and then Van Helsing had to supply and hit the hired scouts. And he's still in a fine position. It could be all the way to like Bucharest or Belgrade.
Yeah, nothing wrong with Vienna there. It's a fine choice. You go to 11, then pretty soon you're lurking around the castle, or maybe you're heading southeast. Nobody really knows.
No real reason to go to the castle at this point. He's so high health, and it's just so congested. Like, that would give them so much time to get to him. I feel like he's probably just, like, in Belgrade, in Bucharest, maybe gonna move to Sofia today. Maybe he's scared of moving to Sofia because they could get onto him with, like, moving bigger, so maybe he, like, I don't know, moves to 17 to be really extra safe.
I don't know, it's a tough call, because if you stop in Klausenberg and Galatz before you start going south, I mean, that's extra move turns that you're burning, that's extra cards you're putting down. As long as you get ahead of them before they're able to, you know, like, converge on you, you know, get a wolf form from 10 going, maybe, or, well, he can't, wolf form's on the trail. Yeah.
I mean, he's got to get to the coast.
I might not do that. I might just head straight for Sofia.
I'm just worried because, I mean, the hunter's great. It took him a while to find him, but they're not that far. Like, with a chartered carriage, maybe he can get all the way to Sofia tomorrow. Like, there's a chance they might get a 2v1. Like, if not today, then maybe tomorrow. Like, I feel like I'm pretty worried it's Dracula.
Nah, you're good if you're Dracula. You head to Salonika right now, right? Everything's
You're fine.
You're fine.
What could ever go wrong? Well, he can't be in Salonika, right? Because he can't be in Sofia today, can he?
Sure he could.
From Vienna?
Yeah, he goes to 11, he goes to 53. Oh, no, you're right. Okay, well, if you're Dracula, you just go to Sofia. No big deal.
Godalming might horse there today.
Nah, why would he do that?
And then if he does,
so what, you know?
Mina or Van Helsing can get there with, like, Emerson's Emergency or Chartered Carriage.
Yeah, they're not gonna do that.
I'm just saying it's risky.
Look, Godalming wants to come and fight. You fight him. You get away as a bat. Go to Athens.
He does only have 2 items, one of which is the horse, right? So he's not the most fearsome combatant, but like a heroic leap here could be good, maybe.
Yeah, that could throw a wrench in the calculations.
Well, he's rolling horses. Oh, he rolled a 2.
You're right, though. It makes me wonder, like, if jbphilly did waste, quote unquote, like waste time. I don't mean waste time, but like linger around. If he went to Klausenberg, if he went to Galatz, something like that, then. Yeah, he could be not in the best spot right
now. I don't think jbphilly did that. I think he's too good.
I think he's in 50 right now. No.
Ooh.
So what did
okay.
he do?
I mean, he could be in 17 right now. I feel like that's my guess.
Let's not forget he's been a sneaky boy. There's lots of evidence to show that at this point.
That's true.
Yeah.
The sneakiness has been on point.
Remember the move to Zurich? how wacky
Mm-hmm.
that was? Remember the
Yeah, it
wolf
was a little bit
form to
wacky.
Vienna? How that was a little offbeat? I suspect he's doing something shenaniganry like that. Like he's gone from Vienna. All right, he went 11, 53, 6, right? Something
No, he's
like,
in like
and now
49
he's in
today.
like 49 or he's in 10, right? Or hell, maybe he even went to Klausenberg after that. You know, then you go to Galatz and you can wolf form to the Black Sea. So, I mean, there's options.
Yeah, I don't think
Um,
49 is bad here. The nice thing about 49 is if it ever gets bad in 49, you can just like hit the escape hatch to 55 and then be on a sea space.
yeah, yeah. Or escape his bat with a laugh. Like, that would be a good move. I mean, sure, Munich's covered, but an escape his bat would still be fun.
You move to 59 and hope that Van Helsing moves off of Munich.
You could do all
Uh,
kinds of stuff, right? Yeah.
this is an interesting dawn or dusk search.
You could go to 10,
TFC,
and then
TFCG.
you put an encounter down in Galatz, and then you wolf form, or something like
Why is he dusk searching right now? Okay, he's checking
that.
Bologna.
Yeah. Maybe that was an effort to CG Dracula.
Well, Valona wasn't even a possibility, right? Because he was checking 59. So it's a little bit of a misplay, because I don't think he could actually have been to Valona based on how many moves he's made.
Agreed.
But the fact that he searched it at all, I'm wondering why he did it at dusk.
The furthest he could have been was Sarajevo.
I guess he did get the ally today, so this was the first time he had the option to use his surprise move turn, and it might have been like, I have this option, I want to use the option.
Yeah, he should have more carefully considered the trail, though, because, yeah, Valona, if I'm not mistaken, that's an impossibility.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because
The closest is Sarajevo.
Godalming checked Zagreb. And that was after Dracula had moved several spaces, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. He could have gone there anytime. Like, he could be there, I don't know. Like, I guess he could be there today, technically, if he went 11, 28, 53, 59, but that seems kind of whack.
Just crazy enough, yeah.
Because I don't think
know
Van
about
Helsing's
that.
moving.
Well,
I think Van Helsing's just going to sit there.
Even if he did do something like that, you don't play around that kind of a trail, right? You play around the idea that he did something a little more sane.
Yes.
Typically, like, and if he didn't do that, then good on him, right?
I hope he goes back to Amsterdam Roscoe. That would make me happy. I don't think this game is looking like it's what's happening, but it would be cool. I think he's probably just going to leave by sea and then go to like Spain or something. But if we do get back to Amsterdam, that'd be cool.
He would have to make tracks to get back to Amsterdam.
Mm-hmm. Is Amsterdam a lair? Oh no, it's not a lair because it was a hoax.
Yeah, this is gonna probably be a one-way trip for Dracula. Excuse me. As far as land-based movement, I don't see it very likely he's gonna, wolf form into Nuremberg and then slink his way back to Amsterdam.
Well, I mean, I don't know how he's gonna wolf. Oh, you mean like he's in 59 today and he wolf form? I guess
something like that, right? He hides
what if he
there
moves
and
to
then he
59
wolves.
today? Like he's in 49 today, moves to 59, and then he wolf forms tomorrow. It's crazy. He's in like 17 and 56. That's actually where he is. That's my real money. He's on the Black Sea coast right now.
No, I like the crazy opinions more. Those are funner.
jbphilly is too smart, right? He already kind of fooled him a little bit. I feel like at this point he can just play it safe.
I mean,
it'll be all right.
We don't know that Dracula didn't just go to Prague and then Berlin,
Wait,
right? Like,
that is actually true. We could be going back to Amsterdam. Okay, no.
Okay, now we have some concrete information. Sure, yeah, there was like a 2% chance that he actually just went to Prague right afterwards, and then Godalming would have looked quite silly.
First, the harsh realities of actually knowing that he didn't do that. It was fun thinking he could have gone north. That's fine. So he did go slow though, right? He either went to 6 and then 10. He didn't beeline it to 10. So he went either 6 or 22 first. Because he could have gone 11, 28, 10. But instead of doing that, he got there in 4 spaces. But now he's definitely in Constanta.
The chat is great. Scott's like, boo, we want Prague.
They all just want drama, okay? Look, and if he'd been found in Prague, they would have been like, "Oh, shouldn't have gone to Prague.
It would have been
too risky."
consternation. Oh my gosh, the peanut gallery would have gone wild. Bucharest. Yeah, Scott's sort of making another good point that without Jonathan Harker in play anymore, we're just going to have to
Ooh.
kind of guess where he went after Bucharest.
I don't know if I like the 53 move. Because that wasn't a guaranteed spot in his trail, and if you go to Klausenberg, it's guaranteed. I guess it's not quite guaranteed. He could have gone 11, 53, 610, but 28 leaves more options open. Like, if you
That's
check
what
28
I
and he's
thought was
not
going
there.
on, though. I thought he went from 6 to 10.
No. Well, I mean, he could have gone 11, 28, 610, right? He didn't necessarily have to go through 53, did he? 1, 2, 3, 4? Yeah, we'll find out. I mean, you gotta check 17, right? 17, you gotta check 17. I mean, I guess maybe you know he's in 17. Do you even care? But yeah,
he's
in
17. The other one missed.
Yeah, again, the varnish check a little bit. I mean, there's no way he could have gotten there. But
hey, it's Dracula.
You know, it is Dracula. Maybe it's hard to get the hired scouts to go like too far apart. Like they're like a family company. Like they just want to be close to each other. I don't know. Maybe check the coast.
They're scouts, okay? They need to get used to the idea of moving about.
Look, Scots are you can't the reason it worked is because I don't normally do crazy things, okay? If you do the crazy things all the time, you're just gonna get got by the fundamentals. You gotta be basic enough that everyone expects you to be basic, and then you pull out a flourish.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You have to do like the normal thing 85% of the time, and then 21% of the time you do something wacky.
And then you
Don't
go back to
my
math class.
On that.
Look, and I'll have you know, Scotsword, you're saying my play was crazy and random. The reason I will form back to Berlin there, okay, is because Hamburg was about to fall off the trail. So if everything went poorly, I could have gone back to Hamburg because of the way the vampire mature was going to work. So I looked crazy, but I had a backup plan because the Hamburg would have been knocked off, and I would have been able to go back there, and it would have been okay. Wait, is that actually true? I think it was. Wait, what's going on right now? Oh, there's a fight in Budapest. Awesome. I'm worse than Scotsword. Just completely ignoring the events.
The trick is knowing when to do the wacky thing. Like, usually I find myself having to do it somewhere around the middle of the game. Like, somewhere in the end of the first week or, like, the beginning of the second week. That's when it's like, surprise, I'm here. Right? And you're in a one-on-one now. And I'm getting away as a bat. Right? Like something crazy that you didn't expect. Okay, she's mesmerized.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough first round of combat. Sorry, I'm worse than Scott's. I'm just still looking at the board. I need to get into the info screen. Okay, so she pistoled. She have a holy bullets, maybe. It was a very interesting pistol round one.
Oh no. Becoming
punch
a bit punch happy, are we?
Yeah, we're all worried about the mesmerize, and now people are like, everybody's punching turn round 2, and so we're over 2 on the punches actually connecting with a good event.
Now you know what's coming next. The big fang.
Oh yeah, the big F. Bam.
Some blood, lady.
I can't escape the picture of that hippopotamus trying to eat that person now.
Oh?
Ooh.
Now do you escape or do you stick out the knife?
Do you want to reveal you have a knife to not even kill the vampire?
Oh, right, she's mesmerized. Yeah, that would be good.
I mean, maybe you do it to deny the point. I think I've done something like that before.
Oh no, it's just the pistol.
And see, this is the worst of all worlds, right? It's unless she has holy bullets, and then the vampire is dead because it kills through mesmerize. Come on. Let's see it,
Shoot it.
Terminus. Let's
Shoot
go.
it, Mina. Kill it.
Oh,
Ah.
man. It's like Amsterdam and Holy Bullets in one game. That would have been so good. Fine.
Not your
Go back to
birthday
my...
yet, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Not my birthday anymore. Sad. This triple Holy Bullet game. That one's sticking with me.
Oh,
That was
yeah,
good.
that was great. You're blasting them.
So I started blasting. Anyway,
Get on down to Gunther's guns.
this combat went horribly for Mina. She took 6 damage. Dracula got a point.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage.
It's regrettable. I wonder why I guess he was maybe predicting a plotting or a clause on the pistol. Like, it has some decent coverage, so he thought he might cancel whatever Dracula did, maybe?
This is true. Yeah.
Does Dracula go to sea today?
It is
Dracula
fun.
go to sea today?
It's fun to throw out a pistol when you think that the vampire suspects you're gonna dodge, right? Because then you'll often catch a claw or a plotting. But the problem is, if he suspects that you're going to dodge, it's probably because you're trying to dodge fangs.
Yeah.
And so if he throws out the fangs, then yeah, it's not good.
It feels really good whenever you cancel whatever Dracula's doing. You know, it feels like your
yeah.
big brain. You're like, I've read his mind and I played the card that canceled it.
One of the all-time greatest feelings. Canceling the vampire's combat card. Oh yeah, it's fun. Especially knowing that Dracula's card always goes first. So you've really hampered him by doing that.
Yeah, combat in this game is really good. It's a really good game.
Oh, yeah.
It's a really good game. That's why we're all here, folks. It's a really good game.
It sure is. Hopefully we're gonna get to see a big juicy combat coming up. But
I mean, if he stays on land, we might get to see one. If he moves to 56, I mean, he can probably get, like, I mean, minimum Godalming can get there. But with any sort of events, like, Seward could get there. Mina could get there.
I mean, well, I don't think he'll stay. I think he'll go to sea. In which case, what do? Do you just give him this 4-point vampire? Right? Do you just let him mature that reckless?
I think I'm okay with the reckless maturing.
Yeah,
I
mean,
think actually Dracula might not even mature it if it
right.
does fall.
I think that would be the worst, is if he actually just layers it. Because now you have to deal with the other encounters.
Yeah, see, sure. If you don't deal with the other encounters, he probably won't mature it. But then at that point, you're staying in the East so long because you have to wait for him not to mature his vampire and then deal with him. It's kind of a lose-lose. Because if you deal with him, then he'll mature the vampire and feel happy about it.
Well, let's see. He's going to sea, right? So now, on his next turn, he's going to go to the Ionian. And the vampire, if it matures, would clear everything but Constantha. So why don't you just go ahead and have Godalming deal with Constantha right now? I mean, it's probably a fog, but like, do you want to take that chance?
Well, I don't even know if he was that scared, right? Because when he went to Constantha, everybody else was kind of far away. They would have had to use like Renewed Vigor to get more than one person on him. And Godalming only has one other item that's not a horse, so maybe he was kind of okay with Godalming like landing on him if he had like a bodyguards or a spy. Like I could see a bodyguards or a spy being there, and it would be very reasonable.
Right. In which case you want to probably mop it up. So maybe I mean, you either move him today or you have him supply, and then move him there later, right?
Yeah, I do think getting with Constantha is a good middle ground, though, right? Because then you can see what the vampire does, and you can react accordingly rather than like leaving and coming back. I quite liked it. I think I mean obviously I don't want to. Oh, or supplying actually, because he's down an item. Just give him another item so he can actually deal with what he's doing.
Yeah, then we can see what happens with this Budapest card. Because I would rather Dracula just have the 6 points total. What did he do? Discard a knife?
He discarded a knife, and he was down an item. So he drew 2 items, and he said, out of my 3-card hand, the worst card is a knife. Wow, and he discarded one of Mina too, didn't he? Like, what does Godalming have right now? It must be Heavenly Host and or Stake.
Maybe he has
There's
a
been
sword.
he has a
The
sword.
only
This is
thing
a better
than a
knife.
knife.
Maybe he's the guy with the third knife. It's just if he has the third knife, what did Mina have that she was willing to discard a knife for? Like I don't know. Item evaluation is interesting for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, maybe he didn't care for the knife.
Because if you do just say straight up, I'm never going to discard the knife, you're probably going to be making an incorrect decision at some point.
Right.
But I feel like that's kind of the world I'm living in, where I never discard a knife. But maybe that's wrong.
I mean, there's two kinds of hunters. There's the ones who are packing a knife, and there's the ones who aren't packing a knife. You know what I mean? What is garlic but a poor man's knife, right?
Yeah, what is garlic but a poor man's knife, and what is garlic wreath but a poor man's garlic?
Fair enough.
That's the hierarchy. So it's Dracula, right? We're in this situation. We have 2 points. We're at sea right now. The hunters are all kind of in the east. Do we just like go to the med? Do we move 2 and then we'll form? I guess we're going from black tea, so we're probably gonna move at least 3. But like,
Yeah.
what is the play?
Yeah, he'll end up in the Adriatic or the Turanian. When he plays the third one, you money trail him, because if he's in the Adriatic, you can kill him with CG. Well, not kill him, but give him a serious bit of heartburn.
Sure. Yes, some heartburn. And he'll lose whatever encounters he had, which is kind of nice. I guess the only bad thing is, right, if you do that, he'll be an 11. He'll take 5 for failing to meet he'll take 5 for cheating and not being able to cheating, quote unquote, and not being able to move.
2 more
and then
he has to go into the Ionian.
Well, I think it's only 1, right? Because his current space
You're right.
will still be the sea space. So he'll go to 5?
Yeah, I mean, he's not dead yet, but not bad,
I guess he'll have no trail.
Considering what it would do to the trail.
Yeah. Like, he'll have no way to heal quickly. He'll have to, like, land and feed.
It's still kind of a tough call. Yeah, because if he feeds, he's going to be back up to 8 all of a sudden, and you've still got yourself a game there. And now you're
Rufus
down
here would be
CG.
really nice.
But what happens if you don't get a good chance to use the CG later anyway? And now he's just going to get away with CG in your hand. Because you didn't settle for a decent one.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just tough with that hoax going off. I mean, he's been supplying, Terminus has been supplying a decent amount. It's just, like, it's hard to see it when you look at how many events are in the deck, just because that hoax went off, I think, with, like, 8 Dracula events? Something like that, 7 or 8. And it makes supplying so much harder.
Right.
I mean, I should say getting the good events harder. That the supply action is still as good as it ever was.
Just click on it.
Yeah, you did good job clicking it. Yeah.
In seriousness, though, garlic itself, it's the only thing that'll protect you from strength, right? And normally, people kind of underplay that 2 damage, but when you're Van Helsing or somebody, like, getting beat up by Dracula's strength repeatedly can be devastating. Like, you get in a fight with a vampire and it strengths you, and now you have to fight Dracula and he strengths you twice. Like, if that damage is somewhat preventable, that's somewhat the niche role of the garlic. Yeah, you gotta be careful not to get clawed at night. Like, that's bad, but that's just how it goes. You know, claws beats garlic. That's why it gives you a small consolation prize of 2 damage.
You're playing to keep your hunters alive. Okay, I'm playing it to kill Dracula. My garlic does not contribute to killing Dracula unless he fangs it. But once you know you have garlic, he's unlikely to do that.
That's the other thing too, is like Dracula gets in a fight and it's Van Helsing and Godalming, right? What's he gonna do? Yeah. He's gonna fang one of them. He's gonna try to get the Heavenly Host, right? So
yeah,
you could dodge that or throw out your rifle or something, but what if he strengths you instead, right? You know how every opening round it's sort of like a 50-50. Is Dracula gonna play fangs to kill the Heavenly Host, or is he gonna play strength to rip your weapon out of your hands and break it, right? It's that big 50-50 toss-up.
Yeah.
So when you throw out a garlic, well, that beats both of those. He doesn't get anything for playing strength, and he wastes strength. And if you've tried to fang you, he just hurt himself. So it can be a nice surprise for him. And even if he strengths you, you still got it for later. And yeah, you're probably not going to like kill him with it, but he's going to have to play around that. He's going to be like, crap, what if he just throws that garlic a second time? I'm going to feel like a real fool. Like when I fang
Admittedly,
you, right?
Crucifix, which I think is kind of a similar item to Garlic, did a lot for me in a recent game because it kind of hard counters Mesmerize, which again is a Dracula card that we don't have a lot of recourse to. But I feel like it is the outlier, not the rule. Although notably, he did not mature his Reckless. He layered it, and now they dealt with the trail. Second Hoax is gone now. That's nice because there's only 2. So once you've dealt with both, I say dealt with both by tanking one to the face and then dealing with the other one. No more hoaxes until the event deck reshuffles or encounter deck reshuffles, which is kind of nice.
The problem here though is they need to haul butt.
Well, they got encounters to deal with.
Yeah, but Dracula's starting to get ahead of them now.
Oh, I do not like Godalming moving back into 17. Not like that. Kind of wish you'd just gone east and then you sent Juke Seward there, but
yeah, you could have had Seward deal with that. Move Godalming west. Yeah, you're right.
Maybe Seward's gonna deal with Bucharest. Maybe he has the Heavenly Host.
And this is when it's nice to have Godalming's special ability with the tickets, right? Because if he wanted to head west, he can just take the train from 10 to 11, from 11 to Venice, right?
Ooh.
Vampire Lair, okay.
Is there some concern about if I have 1 point, do I want to get a second point with my Recklesses? Because then that enables them to use Vampire Lair for maximum effectiveness. Like, is that a concern at all? I don't think it is, but it's something I've been thinking about. Like,
nah, dude. Fang.
Fang. 2 points is 2 points.
Reject humanity. Embrace Fang. My friend.
That meme you put the other day.
That's how you win. You fang like crazy with your Recklesses, and you put them in layers that are going to be high traffic, and then you fang like crazy in them. So I hope everybody who's in the chat is paying attention and listening. This is the secret to defeating the hunters.
Fang.
You play Recklesses, and you just fang like crazy. And then when they're fighting Dracula, you fang too. Yeah.
I liked that meme quite a bit.
Hosts.
It's a good meme.
Yeah, it's a good one. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, wait, what was in Constanta? Hold on, I missed it. Godalming took more damage though. Was it a mob? Or was
it was a mob, yeah.
Oh. Oh, he's so low. He's on 2 HP. Ugh.
Yeah, but it's okay. I mean, as long as you get one of those 2 characters back in the chase here.
I don't know. It's going to be a long time before Godalming is back to full strength. I mean, unless Seward's helping him, but then if they're doing that, like, I feel like one of them has to stay and deal with 10, and the other one needs to start running west. But Dracula is landing today. Probably, I assume.
I think maybe that's why Garlic is why I like the Garlic. It beats Dracula's 2 best cards. It beats Strength and it beats Fangs.
Doesn't beat. I think Mesmerize. I rank Mesmerize kind of highly.
Mesmerize is
but I guess
really good, yeah, but it's just other than its ability to stop the hunter from escaping combat, it's mostly just like a lesser strength.
It does make weapons weaker.
Yes, and it also sets you up to fang people at night. But no, none of that is nothing. Mesmerize is a very subtle card, and its strengths are subtle, yeah. But yeah, like at the end of the day, it's strength, but it doesn't deal damage. Like in most of its applications, right?
Yeah.
And it also,
on the other hand,
it also has some weaknesses that strength doesn't have.
Like it doesn't get blocked by dodge though. Like they dodge you Mesmerize, you still get all your passive effects of Mesmerize, even though like, you didn't really cancel anything. Okay, the money trail's coming down. Was Tyranian.
Expected.
I mean, and he normal landed, right? So, if I could ping, I'd be pinging Cake. You think he went Genoa? Maybe he did. Because I mean, is Van Helsing with his 2 items gonna run down to Genoa to check it today?
Right, exactly.
Probably not.
He's not scared enough to have to go to Cagliari. Just go to Genoa
Not wolf
and
forming.
don't worry about sea travel anymore. No, you don't wolf form yet. You go to Marseille, and then once you're there, you wolf form.
Like, you not wolf form to make them think maybe you're in Cagliari. The problem is if you're in Cagliari, I feel like they would want to go to Genoa anyway, just to like get to Cag eventually, because they're gonna have to do with the encounter there.
What if he was in Cagliari right now, and then you play wolf form high?
That would be some really
and
big.
then they're like,
chess.
where did he go? He's not in Genoa. I guess he landed in Rome. Let's go check Venice. He might have wolf formed to Venice. Where did he go?
You are exactly what my mind is like. That's the interior monologue that's happening.
Then all of a
But the
sudden
issue is you have to leave immediately, right? Like you have to go next day because your fight's gone.
You feed. And then by the time you feed, now they're like, all right, something's up. Something's not right here. But hopefully they've already burned like 2 or 3 actions. Hell, maybe they play Renewed Vigor and they just like go for it. That would be wacky, right? Like, and then you're just sitting there in Sardinia, like, ha ha ha, nice try.
You fools. Nah. Man.
Is he gonna stop the soil though? Because this is gonna be important.
Yeah. I mean, he moved there, right? Why would he move there if he's not gonna stop the soil?
One would think, yeah. Okay, he's searching it.
He doesn't have soil.
He only has 3 items.
He definitely has soil, right? There's no way it would just be. It would be a
host.
throw. He'd be throwing if he didn't have soil.
Host.
Definitely got soil. Look, jbphilly came into this tournament. He's gonna be eliminated in the knockout phase, but he's like, look, I just need to look really good for all my friends. Can you just play a little bit worse than you normally would? You're still gonna get in the knockout phase. Don't worry. No. He dealt with Bucharest. He was always gonna deal with Bucharest.
You don't want Dracula to shoot back up to 13 and then feed. It'll be ugly.
Yeah. Once it's more of attrition, really. Once he goes to sea, like you gotta stop those soils.
Which I enjoy that. Very thematic, right? Like we have to clear up what he left behind and drive him out.
Yeah. Desperate Soil is a really good card. I think especially if the hunters like start using their heavenly host like deal damage to you, just throw down those Desecrated Soils and then you'll feel it back up.
You did it perfectly that other game. I forgot who you were playing, but you got like double heavenly hosted. And then on your next 2 moves, I think, you just put down soils.
Something like that. Yeah, I hadn't played any before that. And it was like, oh, I guess now it's time. Roscoe is asking why we haven't thought about the Dracula card. And the problem is, there's too many options, Roscoe.
Oh, too many possibilities.
Too many options to talk about.
It could be completely useless. It could be only semi-powerful. Or it could
he had like 8 cards to look at, right? It's probably something decently good.
One would think that due to how long he's held on to it, it's probably one of the better ones, right? But then again, that could be a false assumption because if it was a worse card, he would need to hang on to it until he has just the right opportunity to get some kind of real value from it. So I don't really know if it's possible to say.
I mean, we're not getting prompts on movement, so it's probably not a wild horse. I feel like it's probably a Summon Storm. Like, it's something decent, right? He kept it, and it's not like a manual, because he would have played a manual immediately. I think it's something pretty good. I'm trying to think about, like, what the ones you hold on to and play later are. Like, Enraged, maybe. I could see a Seduction, like, if they weren't very good. Like, maybe you pick up Seduction to hope to kill Mina at some point. I don't know. But I feel like, obviously, it could also be on through Swiftness, Darkness Returns. I'm just trying to think about the non-Darkness Returns. And the things that are, like, not that good, but also not that bad. Like, if he had bad cards in the discard, he might have picked one of them.
See, if there was a lair in Sarajevo right now with bats in it, like,
you're still on the Sarajevo lair.
You could take Seward like practically out of the whole game. Seriously.
Well, right, he could just go to 53 though, right? The only reason he didn't go to 53 is because 53 is a lair. Oh no, it's not. 53 is not a lair. But if he's at 10, he could even use that rail you're so fond of and get all the way to 11.
Yeah, but why would anybody think of that? You know, using the train? Like, that's crazy.
True, it is crazy.
Train tickets are for making sure your horses go fast. Brr.
Exactly.
Horsey go
Exactly.
brr.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he didn't go to Genoa. I think it's Kag. I think he hit on Kag. He's now gonna leave and then probably land. I don't know, in 3 days. Yeah. Okay. He's gonna leave. He's gonna land
Well,
in 3 days.
now since he's been revealed, surely he wouldn't wolf form hide at that point. Yeah.
Well, he might just feed today, right? Move tomorrow, wolf form, and get points on land.
I would probably feed. Yeah. This
Just
is
because if he
where,
leaves today, right?
the
Then he goes to
hunters,
South Atlantic.
you
That's
have
just
to
bad.
like see the future here, right? Like if you chase Dracula out of the east and he goes to Constanta and then he goes to the Black Sea, right? You have to start getting your ducks in a row right then and there. And yeah, there was a lot of trail to deal with, to be fair. There's a lot of trail to be dealt with, but like that's when you want to make sure, okay, I'm going to trade excellent weather to the right person. I'm going to trade heroic leap to the right person. I'm going to get Mina in 25 to threaten the excellent weather, right? Things like that. You know, if Dracula does feed and you hit Buster Renewed Vigor out on him, well, yeah, I mean, not now because of the exact positioning of the hunters, but you know, there's potential to make a play there with excellent weather. Even catch him in a 2-on-1 or hit him with a heroic lead.
This feels kind of eerily similar to how we were in our game, and I don't like it for the hunters very much. I feel like this is not a great spot. Granted, he doesn't have any points, so he's gonna have to move a while on land, but like
pressure's really gonna be on, and the hunters are kind of far out of position, and Cagliari's gonna have to be dealt with. So got a lot of problems here. The thing is, though, you can clutch it if you get somebody to CAG efficiently. Who
I think he's putting Mina to sea today, right? Like, I think he's just gonna move Mina there. I think that's what he's gonna do. Because if Mina goes to sea today, she can get lit there tomorrow.
Yes, but the problem with that is that Mina is your leadmost hunter, right? So if Mina's dealing with Cagliari and falling behind Dracula because she's traveling by sea and dealing with a vampire, the other three are well behind Dracula at that point and will need to catch up.
If she doesn't do it, who will get there in time?
That's the other thing, is like maybe you could send Seward there to deal with it, maybe Godalming could deal with it, and then Mina and Van Helsing can march forward to cut off Dracula's shenanigans.
I agree with you. I do think that in order for that to work, though, they need to. I think the way the timing is worked out at this point, given the horse rolls of today, right? If they're not using Sense of Emergency, they're going to need to take 2 more day moves to get to Genoa, and then they would need to have excellent weather to get to Keg in time, right? Or Mina can move today, and I feel like if Mina moves today, right, the other 2 runners can just move on land. Admittedly, they're far behind, but Mina could deal with it without any events. Like, she could just go to sea today, and then Dracula's almost guaranteed to leave, and then she just moves in and can deal with it. And even if it's like a delayed thing, like let's say it's a Bats, it's a Saboteur, it's a Fog, she can still get to it in time if she leaves today. If one of the other 2 gets there with events, and it's like a delaying encounter, they might not have time to deal with the vampire.
That's a good point. I didn't think about the possibility of the delaying encounter. That would be really irritating, yeah. Because when Jackson Cagliari and he hides, you're not really thinking about the delaying encounter, right? He's just going to hide as a matter of course. Because you're in Cagliari. Like, why wouldn't you hide? But yeah, maybe he was really trying to make the most of that hide, and he put like a Saboteur, he put a Fog, he put a Bats, something that's going to stop them from getting that mature, or stopping the mature.
I just think jbphilly is smart enough to maybe like on a line of, I'm gonna hide in CAG to obscure, but then I think as he's hiding and maybe he sees like his encounter hand, I feel like it would occur to me at that moment, what encounter is actually going to do anything in this hide space? A delay encounter, right? Because what else are you going to put there? What else has any effect on the game at all? Like, I mean, I guess it's possible he doesn't have one, but there's a wide variety that he could pick from. I feel like, a Saboteur would be fine. Anything. Like, are you going to put a Wolves under your hide card? Probably not. I mean, it's possible if he was worried like Mina was gonna excellent weather onto him, but seems unlikely. Oh, jbphilly thought he night supplied, but he was just during the day. Okay.
Yeah, Scotsword says Dracula should dark call.
I feel like he just wants points. If he dark calls, that gives him time to get in position
Roscoe
to stop
says
him.
they should use wax cylinders to figure out what encounter is in Cagliari under the hide.
It is a vampire.
Right, but
It
you
is
should
a
check
vampire.
the hide card.
Oh. Well, if it's a
Ah.
delaying encounter, does that change anything? I mean, you're still gonna go after it, right? Like,
That's
you're
a
going
good
after it no matter
point.
what.
Maybe you just do it, right? I mean, you have to assume it's a vampire. You can't. Sure, you could use wax cylinders, and if it reveals that it's a bluff, that would be so huge at this point. It would be.
Dracula hasn't
tempo
played enough
would be
fighting
huge.
vampires.
But why would it be a bluff? Yeah, why would it not just be a vampire, and then you find out it's a vampire, and you're just kind of don't have any good use for the card then. Card's gone.
Bluffing is cheeky of like, oh, I didn't actually use the resource you thought I used. But in a situation like this, ay. Okay. Well, this is bad. This is really bad. Oh no. They are not going to get in position. This rumor token isn't going to get dealt with unless they have an excellent weather. Everything is bad. This hoax was amazing. It's paying off.
Yeah, but you don't think this guy could cook up an excellent weather? Come on.
I mean, look, I think he might have an excellent weather. The issue is now they are not like you said, right? They needed to get west. Now they have no time to get west. He's going to land today. And they have no one anywhere near him. He could just go in Madrid and be happy.
Yeah, but I mean, you could still come on. You can cook up the excellent weather combo. You deal with the vampire with the stake. You move the relevant hunters, and you play CG at night and kill and figure out where he is in Spain, and you push him back towards you, right?
Like, there are outs. I don't think it's over, and I think that a line like that is possible, but the fact of the matter is, he's kind of been not able to, like, his event, like, acquisition this game has been a little bit stunted by the hoax. And I don't know if he has all of the events he needs. Like, I don't think it's Terminus' fault, right? Like, I think against the Amsterdam start, which is, like, so overpoweredly strong. I mean, Amsterdam is just incredible. Against that, with a hidden hoax, I mean, I don't think there's really anything he could have done at that point. I just think that now there's 50 cards left in the deck. Admittedly, 25 of them are Dracula, so there's only 2,500 ones left. Does he have like a Renewed Vigor and a CG and an Excellent Weather and a Forewarned? Like, I don't know if he has all of the cards he needs. We'll see. It's possible he does.
And something we've said in the past is that Dracula doesn't see enough event cards, right? That
he doesn't. This is why he doesn't see enough.
It's not games tends to not let Dracula get to use many of his event cards, and it would be a lot more exciting and interesting if he did. But maybe we're not looking at that the right way. Maybe because Dracula with the right hand of encounters, he can almost, not quite, but he can almost like guarantee a hoax mature. I mean, we saw it this game.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on the setup. It depends on how the newspapers and the scouts all fall out. Like, nothing's guaranteed in this game, but I mean, maybe Dracula can get an event slightly easier than we thought.
The issue is just you need to have that hoax in your opening hand, and the chance of you having it is not that high, which is something I've been thinking about trying to use hoax more. It's just sometimes you just don't have it, and then there's nothing. I mean, it's like 2 out of 28. Right, so you have a 5-card starting hand. Your chance of having a hoax in it is not incredible.
But if you don't get that, then you could maybe get the bodyguards. And while they're nowhere near as powerful as a good hoax, it's almost like a tiny little mini Dracula event, right? It's like, hey, here's your little ally, Dracula. It's like an extra encounter that you carry around in your pocket now. So it's not really as good as the more powerful Dracula events, but it's kind of better than a lot of the worst Dracula events, right? Like, you'd rather have a bodyguards mature than a hoax mature that only gives you like a custom search, right?
Sure. I mean, granted, it also shuffles everything else back into their deck, making it hard for them to find stuff. I think that's, honestly, I feel like supplying is the best thing hunters can do, and hoax is one of the only, like, direct ways Dracula has to impact how likely they are to get the good events. So I like it for that reason, but, you know, a bodyguard is good. Makes it harder to get, like, a good 1v1 fight.
It's not as good as a hoax. It's just sort of the idea that, like, if you don't get the hoax, well, you could put one of them down instead, and that way you can still get something out of it. If you're trying to go the route of, like, I'm going to put a delaying encounter on top of this, I'm going to put a bats on top of this, or something like that. Well, if you don't have the hoax, at least you could still do that.
Okay, he has one renewed vigor. That is a good sign.
Right.
That's a good sign.
I mean, and the fact that we're seeing it now kind of makes me think that, like, maybe he's got another one in the back pocket.
Well, I mean, I think you got to play now, right? He's got to get into Spain. I'm really worried about Spain right now. I mean, maybe he did something tricky, but I don't think as Dracula you do anything tricky. You just, like, wolf him to, like, I don't know, Granada or Madrid, and you live out your days happy as a clam.
Really good of him to use that Darkness Returns, because now they can't just, like... I mean, he's vulnerable after that initial wolf form, but now that he's been able to move an additional space, it's opened up many more possibilities for where he could be.
If there's a charred carriage, it'd be really good right now. Charred carriage in Madrid would be excellent.
But he just horsed.
Charred carriage counts as a normal rail move.
Oh.
You can use it as part of a normal rail move.
Gotcha.
Remember how you double charred carriage to stop the vampire from me winning the game? You used two charred carriages with renewed vigor?
I do remember that, but I thought that had been patched out.
I think it's a real... I think because it's technically like two separate actions. Well, maybe it has been patched out.
Rail moves then?
Maybe it has. Maybe it has been patched out.
Maybe we're both right. Like, it is a modified rail move, but they've since corrected it so that it can't be used twice on a renewed vigor.
I think you're right, because I think you have to click the train, like the train button, to use it. I think you are right there.
I remember that game and I was just like, oh shoot, I lose because I used a special action, I can't use another one. But then I just clicked the train button and the chartered carriage came up. I was like, alright, the heck with it.
Well, let's see if it's a delaying encounter.
It's a saboteur.
It is.
Do we have the dogs?
Does she have a forewarned?
Or
a dog? Dogs would do it too.
Bark, bark. Oh,
nope.
Forewarned. Nice.
Forewarned is just better dogs.
It's super dogs, yeah. Oh, that would have been some hilarious stuff if it was a dogs. I'll take the forewarned though. Nicely played. Good play.
Yeah, this is crucial. Dealing with that vampire means that Dracula doesn't win tonight.
Win or lose, nobody can say that this guy's not up on things. Like, he's clearly done his homework, considered the idea that there could be a fog there, that
Ooh, I like that evil presence.
That would have slowed him down and forced a delay. Would have been devastating.
So, I mean, that means he's in, like, he's in 12, 31, or 47. I suppose he could also be in 26. But... yeah, that evil presence was big.
Yeah, that's helpful. Scott Sword pointing out that Saboteur is the renewed vigor killer. It's true.
These things that delay are the renewed vigor killer.
Bats is great at that too. You know, you put down a bats wherever you wolf form to, and then you move one more space, right? And then they renewed vigor. Mm-hmm. They jump onto wherever you wolf form to, and you bat them, rob them of that second action.
Well, if he has a second renewed vigor, this could be quite good. Issue is right. I don't know what the chance of him having it is, given the state of affairs, but, you know, so that'd be pretty key. He could maybe get him tomorrow.
He's not adjacent to anybody. So that still leaves 31, 12, 26.
Probably not 26.
39. But that's kind of it, right?
Yeah. Kind of like the analyze here. You're not going to use it for the hide function anymore this game, so you might as well get some info if you don't have anything else to do with Unite Action.
But on which card?
The wolf form card. It was a bats.
I knew it!
It's Madrid! I'm telling you, I think bats Madrid. Yeah.
That's exactly what he would do, yeah. And then you hope that they train in or something. Here it is!
I don't like this
know.
though.
Yeah.
He's in a port, he just leaves.
Yeah, if he's where we think he is, it's no good.
Oh, he was hoping he moved to 26. No, did not move to 26. And I would check 12, I suppose, next.
This was premature. Yeah, even if you like force him to go back to sea, he would have to land like in England at that point, and you could kill him with CG then. Even if he gets his precious 12 points, right?
Yeah, he's in 12.
Yeah, it's no
He's gonna get
good.
forced to sea,
He's just
but-
gonna go to sea, and then he can land in England and win. No, no,
Ooh.
no, he didn't go that one.
Is he gonna go to sea anyway, though? Because is he gonna dark call in 12?
No, you go to sea, then you go to North Atlantic and you win the game.
Maybe he's trying to make jbphilly. He's giving him the option, so that he thinks, oh, he made a mistake. I should capitalize and stay here, and then he pounces with the Renewed Vigor tomorrow. And it's like, bam! That's what I wanted you to
That
do.
would be Mega Brain.
I mean, because I think we've kind of ascertained that going to sea is actually like not that bad for Dracula. So maybe you want to try to tempt him to not do that. You know, leave it as an option.
Maybe he just decided, if I don't figure out where he went, I'm gonna lose. So I can use CG just to scout everything, just to figure out where Dracula is, if nothing else.
I think he was trying to kill him in 26.
I agree. He was probably trying to catch the old Granada move, but jbphilly, you gotta get up pretty early in the morning to catch him sleeping in Granada.
You get CG nuked one
Not
time,
at this
and that's all it
stage
takes.
in the game.
Never again.
Yeah, not right now. Might try something like that in the middle, being cheeky.
Okay. Yeah, he goes to sea anyway. Like,
Right.
yeah, it's fun. I guess he doesn't get to see what this encounter is. That would have been nice.
So, I mean,
Right?
you
CG would have
know
been
that bats is irrelevant, though. So, he has, at this point, he's forced to go to the North Atlantic, right? Unless he just lands right now in Spain, which would be like suicidal, right?
He's
So
never landing in Spain.
you have
0%
to
chance
you
of
have
landing
to
in Spain.
set up in 8 and in 39 so that you can excellent weather to Ireland.
I even think I want to set up on like 29. Like, I think maybe you get one person on 8, one
Yeah.
person on 29.
Yeah,
You know, threaten everything.
I'm fine with that.
Because you're probably going to get a few more supplies up if he's going to move. Because if he only moves one, it's kind of obvious he's doing Ireland, and then you could excellent weather onto him. Although, granted, only one forewarned left, right? He probably doesn't have the other forewarned.
Yes, but I think what he's probably going to do is move 2 sea spaces.
Like 2 more? You mean like go 3 total?
Yes. So he's in the South Atlantic now. And tonight he's going to move to the North Atlantic. And then tomorrow night he's going to move 1 more so that they don't know where he went.
Is there any argument that you supply today on the hope that you draw Rufus right now?
What's it going to do? 2 more damage?
Well, I mean, if you're going to get, like, if you think he's going to move 3, right? Like, is there an incentive to supply now rather than supplying later? Because you're going to get 1 supply either way, rather get the potential Rufus
No.
earlier than later?
I don't think Rufus matters right now, unfortunately. Like, in the slimmest sense he does, but I think what you're hoping he does is just moves till he's at 6. Then he's going to wolf form and go down to 5. And if that's not low enough for you to kill him, I don't know what to tell you. Like, 2 more from Rufus Smith I don't think is going to make the difference there. You follow me? Like, what's the difference if he's at 5? He's at 8 right now. So by the time he lands, he's probably going to be around 5. What's the difference between that and 3?
Well, I think the difference between 5 and 6 is pretty massive.
Right, but the difference between 5 and 3, not so much.
Right, but he's at 8 right now, right? So he moves 2 spaces, and he's at 6. And then he lands, and he's at 6 HP.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot. Wolf form's already still on the trail, so he's not going to land with a wolf form.
The issue is, I think the issue is going to be getting the fight at all, because we haven't seen any fogs
Maybe
yet.
you just don't have the luxury of trying to do anything with Rufus. You just have to move.
I mean, jbphilly knows that there's a forewarned already gone. He hasn't played any fogs yet. I think wherever he lands, there's going to be a fog there. And I doubt the hunters, like, first of all, do they even have the second forewarned? And if they do, can they line it up with whoever he tries to ambush with the fog.
Mina's,
It's a lot has
Mina's
to go
only
right.
one sea space behind Dracula, right? So tonight Dracula moves to North Atlantic. Tomorrow Mina goes to South Atlantic. The next
I mean, she's
day,
functionally 2 spaces behind him, right? Because she can't land.
Yeah, but if Dracula lands in
Ooh.
Galway, then Mina would
That's
land
good.
in the North Atlantic. And then if Dracula goes to Dublin, Mina could land in Galway, and if Renewed Vigor was hot, she could potentially horse onto him, right? So she's actually still in the game because she moved today and not tomorrow.
I think that the fog
if
thing
there's
is
a
actually
Renewed Vigor.
I think it's good because I think if Dracula had 2 fogs, it would be impossible. With 1 fog, maybe you can get him. Maybe.
Seward was probably out of it anyway at that point. Since he decided to go for the encounter.
Yeah, I mean, there's
I don't know if I would have gone for the encounter. I might have just let him have that one.
Yeah, if it's a vampire, like, how long would he have to move for that vampire to make a difference? Because he's gonna win in 3 land moves right now. If that vampire matured, I suppose it wouldn't mature. It would save him 1 day worth of action if he moves by sea again today. Does he have? I don't know if he has a rumor token that he would have placed there.
I don't know. It's tricky because it's like it's a gamble that you're gonna get to him at all. Maybe you just go ahead and also gamble that it's not a vampire.
Godalming is following him.
So now the problem is though, if Dracula lands now, he could be in Bordeaux and we wouldn't even know about it.
I don't think he's gonna do that. But I mean, yeah, he could do that. But the problem is, right? You move Godalming to 23, you instantly know he is not there, and then everybody knows he's either 39 or 8.
Van Helsing would check 39, and then he's not there, right?
He could rail to 8.
And
I don't know if him checking 39 is a certainty.
No, I as Dracula right now, I think you do land an 8. I would totally love that. You land an 8, Godalming goes to Ireland, Van Helsing checks 39, you move to 47 on the next turn.
Well, how do you know he's going to check 39, though?
Because like, why would he check 8?
Because it's further away. It looks better to Dracula for the reason you're saying right now. It's quote-unquote harder for him to get to, even though he can still rail there.
Maybe.
I mean,
yeah. Maybe you're onto something.
I guess it's a mind game, you know. It's just like which side, you know. Is he trying to be big brain, or does he just like land in?
But which is the big brain play, and
which is the big brain play?
Which is the micro brain? No one knows until you find out what he did.
Unfortunately, Terminus and jbphilly are too good of players.
Maybe I wouldn't do that. Upon further reflection, this is why some of my moves take so long, Pizza Wizard.
No, it's okay.
I have to sort out all the crazy ideas first.
I do have to say, unfortunately, this game has taken longer than I thought it would. I do have somewhere I have to be, but it's been great being here with you. Whatever happens this last week, I think it's going to be great, but I unfortunately have to bounce. Have a good rest of your stream. Everybody in the commentary, thanks for being here.
Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, have a good rest of your weekend,
Say
you
bye
guys.
to Pizza Wizard, everybody.
Sure, you'll see me somewhere soon, on one side of the screen or the other.
Lurking where you least expect him. Bye, buddy.
Oh yeah. Goodbye now. In Frankfurt. Oh yeah.
And then there was one, ladies and gents. So here we go. Final climactic finish. Will Dracula land somewhere tonight? Or will he continue to move by sea? I think you don't land tonight. No. Your locations are too easily checked. Whereas if you move once more, you suddenly open up the possibility of 18, 32, 52, 43, 33, 19, 27, and 2. That's... I lost track of how many that was, but that's a lot more than just 3. Right? My math's not that good, but I know something about when one number is bigger than another number. Well, thank you, Scottsword. I hope you've been enjoying. Yeah, feel free to join me if you like. This one will probably be wrapping up soon, though. I I imagine Dracula's gonna move by sea one more time. Yep, there it is. And then after this, he's gonna land, I imagine. Now what? Does Godalming go to the Irish Sea? I wouldn't count Seward out yet. I mean, if there is a renewed vigor, he could possibly, if he still has his horses, I mean, he could maybe charter a carriage all the way to Cologne, which ain't much, but I mean that is something, right? Like if Dracula decides to land in Hamburg or Amsterdam or something. I mean, it's not the best thing, but the fact that he is mostly out of it, but might not be entirely if he can manage things. It depends what Dracula does next, because he's going to go to 9 and then 12 influence. So that's when you got to catch him. You're not going to catch him when he lands. You're going to catch him the next day. In which case, you know, he could, in theory, actually be in Cologne or Brussels, although it's highly unlikely, because if he lands in one of these places, if he land, it would be Hamburg, and then he would move this way probably towards Berlin. Yeah, with no CG in the mix, Dracula just knows precisely where he wants to go and what he wants to do. Oh, hey, who've we got here?
Hello. I'm piggybacking off you and Peter Wizard's good work.
Excellent. Welcome aboard.
Here for the finale. Great stream.
Yeah, we lose
Good game as
one
well.
co-commentator, we get another one, you know? When everything evens out in the end. Yeah, this has been a fun one. Yeah, nice lively chat too. Been a good time. What's he thinking?
Is the game okay?
Yeah, I'm curious. Is there much to think about?
Because I just tried to hop in, and it took me like back into like a fight in Geneva.
Oh, great! You broke it.
And I'm looking in the lobby, and it shows only one person in the game. So I don't know, has somebody like quit?
No, it seems to be working for me. And Helsing's ticketing.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Mina and Galmer pass. Let's see. Dracula's gonna land. I don't imagine. I can't see why you wouldn't.
If he's in Irish Sea, he'd be laughing, because Godalming went to North Sea.
Right. But I mean, you've got to, right? Oh, no renewed vigor. There's still one more turn, though. Like, if you don't catch Dracula now, you can catch Dracula tomorrow. And then maybe renewed vigor after that. If you got it. Okay. That leaves Germany and the Irish Sea coast and the Channel coast.
It's maybe just too many places to check at this point.
Yeah, that's why that third sea move was really good, I think. Once you get up into that northwest corner of the map, the British Isles and the many sea zones, you can just create so much obfuscation. Because even though the ports aren't really that far away from each other, like for example, like 27 isn't really that far from Edinburgh, right? But the fact that you have to go through the sea zones to get there just makes everything a big headache, especially with the Irish Sea involved.
I'm loading back in. Let's see if it actually loads the correct part of the game now. Yeah, especially if it said no second renewed vigor. That's huge.
Don't call GG yet. Dracula could be in Plymouth, for all you know. It's possible. He's in Plymouth, or he's in Hamburg, or he's in Amsterdam, or he's in Dublin, Liverpool, or Swansea. I mean, you never know. Seward could just... He could chartered carriage to 16 and then check Leipzig, and there's Dracula. It's possible. Or Dracula might hide in... Well, no, he probably wouldn't hide on the Germany coast because Mina's about to land. So you would want to move away from her.
Okay, Roscoe made a very good point earlier. The fact that CG is being used just makes Dracula's life so much easier.
Yep, absolutely. He doesn't have to just go to the English Channel and wolf form straight to Swansea, right? He instead knows that he has options and that there's some safety.
For some reason the game is not loading for me correctly, so I'm going to watch through the live stream.
That's a pain. Oh well. Yeah, because I mean, at this stage, typically as Dracula, if you're worried about the CG, you kind of have to wolf form to a place where there's another sea you can get to, right? So in other words, if you're in the English Channel, you wolf form to Swansea. Because if they CG you there, it's okay. You can just go to the Irish Sea, right? Everything will be fine. But once CG is no longer on the table, you're not restricted to that kind of play. You don't have to worry about that kind of thing. You could wolf form wherever you think is best.
Right. I mean, obviously, it's really hard for Terminus because the wolf form from the Mediterranean meant there were so many places to check, but this consecrated ground had to be played a turn earlier because the minute Dracula gets anywhere to a port, CG is basically useless.
Yeah.
And jbphilly would not be trying to play sneaky here.
When he can get to a port wherein the adjacent sea zone is not on the trail yet.
Right.
Precisely.
Right.
Yeah, it becomes useless at that point. And you just slip away, as we saw. Whereas if you'd maybe been able to scare him out of Cadiz by just chasing him down and keep your CG, then he's forced to land without wolf form, right? And you CG him then. Or maybe he does land with his wolf form and you can still get him.
Oh, Seward moved.
It's very true.
I'm a little bit behind, but Seward moved when it was he wasn't going to get onto Dracula's space, so he had to maybe just supply. He might just lock a scouts or something.
Yeah, would have probably been better than a move that doesn't get you to Dracula. Yeah, you never know. You might have hit Sister Agatha or something, reveal him hiding in Swansea, and then you can move Van Helsing there and try to fight him.
Right. Better than nothing.
Right, better than nothing. Exactly.
Knock the IDS down a bit, maybe, even if it still ends up in a defeat.
Right.
Close game, though.
Yeah. Really goes to show maybe our priorities are backwards. You know? Maybe it's less important to focus on clearing every card in the trail, and it's actually more important to wallop Dracula at some point. Because if he goes to a port and gets to sea and he has full health and there's only 7 more days before your Dracula activates. Oh, it was Ireland. Nice. I like it. You see my point though? Like maybe it's better to just say, yeah, we'll let a card mature, and in exchange we're gonna jump on Dracula and clobber him for a bunch of damage. Now in the late game, he can't do this kind of hooliganry where he just goes to CAG and then sails to England. You know what I mean?
Right. I think it was the whole thing we were saying in chat about the vampire in was it Klausenberg or wherever? I think it was Klausenberg, right? That the hunters couldn't deal with it, and then Dracula decided not to mature it. Where I think back in the old days, Dracula's would have just instantly matured that vampire.
Take the points.
But jbphilly decided to bait him into dealing with the other 3 encounters, and that's actually, I think, what cost the hunters the game. It's kind of weird where, yeah, so Dracula didn't mature the vampire. Okay, so from then on, I think as hunters, yeah, you would have got an extra hope to mature, which would have been bad, and 3 points of healing from desecrated soil, and then also then a mob. But by then the hunters would have vacated, so the mob's useless. How many turns did the hunters spend dealing with all that stuff instead of heading westward?
Yeah, at what point does the cost outweigh the benefit of what you're getting?
Yeah.
I think that's where the real skill comes in, is knowing when to make that call and just cut the strings and say, it's not worth it at this point, because if I don't hit him for something now, he's going to win later, right?
Right.
Even if you just get in a combat and you hit him for 6 damage, right? Well, shoot, that could be the difference between him having to stop in Spain or him sailing all the way to England, right?
Right. And even if Dracula, let's just think, if Dracula had matured the vampire, so it was up 4 points, or had matured the hoax, had an extra card, and had 3 more health from desecrated soil, but if Seward and Godalming were, say, 2 fast horse moves further west, suddenly that Wolfram from Mediterranean is actually very risky, with a renewed vigor mixed in for good measure, and a consecrated ground. Suddenly that 3 health that Dracula gained is maybe irrelevant, because 3 hunters jump on you, and then you die, and then
CG,
consecrated ground gets played.
To move on to them, or near the
right.
them. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Even the same move to Madrid, but imagine if all the hunters were just even 1 fast horse move further across, you could CG all the ports and put Heavenly Host in Madrid, so then he's forced out of Madrid. That blocks it, like as almost acting like the Wolfram as like a permanent token, and Dracula's forced towards the hunters. And then you pounce on him with renewed vigor, and then who cares that he has 3 more health than he would have done?
Right.
He potentially just dies in that situation.
Right.
But as I agree, I think it's probably one of the toughest things for hunters to get right. I mean, that's why when I was trying to explain like hunter tips and guides and things, I'm like, there is a point where that mentality has to click and shift between the trail, moving then Dracula only. But it's very hard to gauge, unless you see it in a very specific situation like this, when that moment clicks. And I think if Terminus watches this back, he might suddenly realize, I lost too much time in the east there. I would have maybe just let the things mature. It would have been bad, but at least there would be no points, because the Reckless didn't mature, so there'd be no points then.
Part of what makes this game so good is even once you do get good at it, not that I know what that's like, but even if you are good at the game, like, it's still not easy to tell what the right call is at any given time.
Right.
Like, you just have to kind of do your best and hope you make the right call.
Right. I was saying in the other stream that we had today, like, even if I'm sitting there and I'm disagreeing with what the Hunter player is doing, what the Dracula player is doing, maybe in the end it doesn't matter, because if they've got a plan, if in their head they know what they're going to be doing, they've already planned out several turns ahead, and if it works out, then that's fine. We don't have to all play the same way. We all could still get the result that we want.
So long as you have a strategy.
By playing different ways.
Yeah. I
yes.
think that's acceptable.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you put any amount of thought into your own strategy, if it's a bad one, it'll probably occur to you. Forming a strategy is something that takes thought. So it's encouraging to see somebody thinking carefully about their play and clearly like doing their homework and up on the meta. Hey, there he is, the man himself in the chat. Great performance.
Hey.
Man, great performance. Really good game.
Yeah. Tough game against somebody who, even though it is rusty, you know, but we all know jbphilly is a decent player.
Oh, he's a sly old dog.
The league last year proved how good he is. So that's not a easy game at all. But it was really close, all things considered.
Yeah, very fun one too. And
And
on
obviously
that,
they've got the rematch coming soon.
oh, right, they're gonna play in like an hour and a half. Stay tuned. Yeah, we might get that one running for you too, folks. We'll see what's going on. But on that, I think I'll leave you for now. Take a little break. Thank you for joining us, everybody. And thank you for playing Terminus and jbphilly, providing the entertainment. And thank you for joining me, Scott Sword.
Oh, yeah, but first of all, I just jumped in at the very end. Thank you to you and Pizza Wizard for streaming and commentating. It's
Absolutely.
really good of you to do so.
My pleasure. And on that, I'll be signing off, everybody. So we'll see you soon for the next one. Bye now.